Well, hello and welcome to the Premier League Punters Show, week 10 now. I'm a little bit, it's very cold in here. We have AC, so if you see me huddling over my cup of coffee, it's cold, right?
Yeah, it's cold.
And it's actually really warm in Costa Rica, but not in our studio. No, Rafa likes to keep it cold and us fresh, so here we are. So, before we start, I actually think, you said that it's, how did you describe this week?
Tough.
Yeah, do you know what?
Very tough.
My word would be value.
Yeah, I like that because
Value.
all my selections are going to be down to value.
I was like, week 10 value pick. There is tremendous value on the outright, I have to say. A little bit tricky, but you boys can do it.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
We will.
All right, well, listen, this is my co-host, Flash here, needs no introduction. My name's Natalie, and I'm going to bring on the money, Martin Green. Hello, Martin. How are we doing?
Hello, Natalie. Very good, thanks. I agree that this is a tough card. Lots of potential banana skins. Lots of big teams coming off big midweek European clashes. So we're not sure if they're going to be how tired they're going to be, and a lot of games that could go either way. I've dug deep and found a bit of value, but yeah, it is a pretty tricky card this weekend, I feel.
I don't know. I didn't feel I had to dig, but I do agree. Possible banana skins, but I think if you are going for that value, you should be able to come on top by the end of Sunday. Just very quickly, I'm going to bring up, I'm going to verbally say the record today. We have, let's have a look, 22.3 units of profit. Those are from all our Premier League tips, both on these videos, Premier League Punters, but also at oddsmarket.com as well, where you got Flash, Martin writing, we've got Alex writing, and also Dave Betts as well. So part of that is adding to that profit. And if you want to break it down, up on top there, Money Martin, 11.3, Dave at 6.1, and Flash at 5. And you dropped a couple of units, didn't you, over the weekend?
I did.
On Premier League.
Yeah, Premier League, yeah.
But you made it up, didn't you? Where did you make it up?
The lower leagues and the NFL. Yeah, lower leagues. We had a four-timer.
Smashed it.
17 to 1.
To quote our Flash. And you're back with Dave Betts, aren't you, tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow,
covering the lower leagues.
Yeah, lower leagues tomorrow. Really looking forward to that. Dave, he's a brave man. He goes in that championship, and that championship, honestly, it's like a minefield. You come out of it, you've got no arms or legs. Honestly, it's just an absolute horrendous place to try and pick winners.
Do you bet the championship, Martin?
Not so much this season. I do find it horrendous. I bet on, not for tips or anything, but I just bet on West Brom the other day, thinking they would win comfortably. They did not against bottom team and busted my ACCA, so wasn't pleased with that. Form just goes out the window in that. It's such a long slog of a season, so I'm staying away from it and sticking to Europe's top leagues at the moment.
I thought rule of thumb was goals. Isn't it
Isn't it?
If you were to just bet goals the entire time, you should come on top.
Yeah, without a doubt. And then 1 week you do that, there'll be 0-0s. You just cannot.
But when you've got to do all season though, you've got to stick. Because I thought that actually was your advice, wasn't it? Just go for the goals.
Both teams to score and over most weeks, but comfortable betting and the championship in the same sentence is just not heard. I mean, you might as well put that in Mandarin because no one is ever going to understand comfortable and the championship. But there again, League One, League Two, there is a gulf between teams, and if you score goals, you'll win games, and it's as simple as that.
It is as simple as that, isn't it? But you've got to be able to score them first. Somebody has just chimed in on the little chat here, and I just have to say, about Martin losing. We keep a record since the beginning of the season. Martin ain't losing. He's got 27.9 units of profit. He may have a dip here and there. We're not all perfect, but like we say, it is a marathon and not a sprint. 27.9 units of profit. I'd say that's winning.
But how's he made that statement? How can
maybe it's a few. You literally lose 1 or 2 games, and it's right, they're losing. But you can have a clean record the whole season, lose 2, and then they're unfollow.
No, I get that.
I lost a few in the Premier League at the weekend, so I'm down a couple of units on that, but broke even on La Liga, and I've made a profit midweek Champions League as well. So overall, not losing. Still.
Yeah, you don't have to justify yourself, mate. It's all on camera. It's all on. It's all tweeted
exactly.
out.
So James Lyons says, Martin's been better than Flash lately. Give him a break.
On Premier
There we
League?
go, throwing you on the bus and big Martin up.
Well, did you have my units of profit over the course of the season over at all sports?
I can bring you up.
Oh, go on then.
1 moment, I've got it all open.
And the only reason I'm saying it is because obviously I had a 17-1 4-time parlay last week.
Oh yeah.
So I just thought I'd bring that up. What do you got by all accounts? It's one of those. If you don't, people say you're really bad.
All right, here we go.
Thank you.
39.6 units of profit.
Yeah, see.
What are you doing coming into work? Why don't you just sailing off into the sunset on all your fat units of profit?
Yeah, because you don't listen. You tell me to get in.
Lassoing you back. Come
here.
here.
Exactly.
you running for the sunset. No, you don't.
Exactly.
Back on the show. Okay, so there we go. Right, let's just start off. I'm sure you've heard us jabbing on for enough long. Okay, let's just start. Premier League Week 10, let us commence. Southampton 3.1, draw 3.5, and Leicester 2.37. Leicester obviously held on to their third spot, walking away with a win. They are not as comfortable on the road, but 2.37, is this the first value money line outright pick, Flesh?
No, it's gonna be a pass, but I looked at the value and thought Vardy anytime 2.25.
Yeah.
Wow. Both teams to score. I think I can see that. Alex Classic, I can see that. Picking, trying to... I know, I had to pass it because I had so many comparables. Friday night on the telly, Southampton last week got a good 1-1 draw against Wolves. Well deserved as well. I went with Wolves. So Southampton, I think, is the reason I can't play here because you don't know what Southampton's going to turn up.
You got a soft spot for Southampton, though. Let's listen to the voice of reason, Martin. What do you like here?
I mean, I think it's quite tempting to bet on Leicester just because they're in very good form. Since their draw with Wolves on the opening day of the season, they haven't dropped points against anyone outside of the Big Six. But yeah, I'm also a bit wary of Southampton after that draw away at Wolves last weekend. I think that probably busted quite a few coupons as well. They do work hard, Southampton. They'll match Leicester throughout the game for intensity. I also like both teams to score. It's come in each of Southampton's last 4 games. Leicester, I mean, they keep things reasonably tight at the back, but they generally concede a goal per game, and they are good going forward. So I'm on both teams to score 1.8. Yeah.
I have to say consensus here. We've got IPL betting, typical 1-1 match. Barsman, he's liking the draw and both teams to score at 4.10. Elman Enide says both teams to score, liking the both teams to score. Leicester win and both teams to score, says James Lyons. Yeah, all right. So there we go. Flash leaving it alone. Martin is going for both teams to score. Next, Man City 1.11, no meat on that bone. Aston Villa 29. I have to say, Aston Villa, obviously, we started this season, we said fade, fade, fade. You changed your mind, you bet Aston Villa, and you won. Now, I'm not going to say let's bet Aston Villa at 29, but do you think they can get on the score sheet?
No, but I don't. But I am playing this game. I'm going to go with Martin's bet of Man City and under 4.5. I think this will be maybe a 2 or 3-0. Remember, Man City, they had a tough game against Palace. Then they play midweek in the Champions League. And I don't see this being a 5-0. So, I mean, I'm happy with 3 or 4-0. 1.83. I'm definitely going to go with that.
It's like playing with fire, though, isn't it? A team that can just score so many goals, and you're hoping.
But Villa are so organised. That's the other thing, and they've got a bit of confidence as well. And they're not going to go there expecting to roll them over. It's going to be a game where they're going to have to try and compete and stay disciplined. Yeah, 12th in the league right now. Do you think that they're looking like a team to stay up, aren't they? They are. They are. Considering I've said all along that I think they're to fade them and get rid, but they've got goal scorers in midfield. And they seem to have a togetherness at this moment in time. And I think there's worse teams in the Premier League at this moment in time than Villa. James Lyons, Aston Villa +3, an interesting take. Do you think it's going to be a tighter game than we're generally used to seeing with Man City?
Perhaps, yeah. I mean, the prices on Man City are minuscule when you consider that Aston Villa have taken 10 points from a possible 12 in their last 4 games. And they've scored 14 in their last 5 matches. That's almost 3 goals per game. Like Flash said, they're doing really well going forwards at the moment. It's just a measure of how dominant Man City have been over the past few years in the Premier League. I was looking at different ways to play this. I'm actually going for a pretty boring way of doing it, but I've got odds of 2.4 on Man City to win and both teams to score, which I like the look of. But I'm going to stick half a unit on Man City to win to 0 at 1.91, just to cover myself. So if they do win to 0, I'm only down by a very, very minuscule 0.09 units. And if they win, I'm up by 0.9. So I'm up for that.
Are they both official then?
Oh, both official. Yeah, a full stake on
camera.
Man City.
Yeah,
and
well,
both
I don't want people shouting him out next week when he's made money and they say, "Oh no, Martin loses."
And yeah, half a stake to hedge my bets on Man City win to 0 at 1.91.
I have to say, I would not describe that as boring at all. I think it's cunning. I think it's interesting. I think like boring it be not. But I like that look there, hedging your bets there, covering on both sides. Interesting take. I don't know. I think that Aston Villa will get on the score sheet. To be honest, I like that Man City and both teams to score for that value. All right, Brighton 2.9, Everton 2.7. The draw coming in there at 3.5. Ooh, I think this is a real risky one. I think two teams hit or miss, more misses really than hits. They do say if you can't split it, you like to say that. Is this where you go for the draw?
I went for Brighton first of all. Then I delved into the game a bit more and thought, no, the draw at 3.5, that looks absolutely great value. And then I thought Everton on the back of a clean sheet and a win. Everton, I can't get right. No one can get right. Away from home, they're awful. Brighton's last home game, they won 3-0 against Spurs. No, line through it. Just put a line through it.
Yeah, I
just
think so
leave
as well.
it.
A solid pass, unless Martin's got another boring bet he wants to throw at us.
Great, no, this has to be a pass from me. I was very impressed with Everton at the weekend. They really needed to get a win for Marco Silva, and he made some bold changes. Played Richarlison down the middle. Iwobi went into the number 10, and he dropped his best player, Gylfi Sigurdsson, who hasn't been turning it on this season, and reaped the rewards. 2-0 win at home against West Ham, very good result. So for that reason, I think the form book kind of goes out the window with Everton because they're setting up in such a different way now, and they're under a lot of pressure. And I still don't know what you're going to get with Brighton. So pass.
Yeah. Pass. Big fat pass. James Lyons, though, says he fancies Everton. IPL betting both teams to score on that one. I quite like both teams to score as well. Watford 2.2, Bournemouth 3.4. Obviously, Watford. We were on. What was your bet? Did you play the Spurs game?
Yeah, I did. I went with Spurs minus 1.5, and Watford were hard done by as well. It was 1-1. I mean, it was Dele Alli scored in the 83rd minute, and the big one was Watford should have had a penalty. And VAR, what are they doing? I mean, it was a clear penalty, and they didn't even get it. So Watford very unlucky not to go to Tottenham and win 2-1. But there again, they're playing Tottenham, and at the minute, Tottenham are awful.
Yeah. What's your take here? Obviously, Watford 2.2. They are bottom of the league. They do need to win. Well, they have a little bit of confidence coming to this match. They have the home advantage. They are priced as favourites. What do you like, Martin?
Yeah, I mean, Watford have gone 9 games without a win. Surely that's got to end at some point. They can't go the whole season without victory. They have been improving a bit in recent weeks. I think they'll get a bit of confidence from that draw away at Tottenham. The striking situation's a bit of a worry because Welbeck limped off at the start of the game. Troy Deeney's still injured. Might go for Andre Gray up front. But they've got to win at some point, and this could be the game to do it in. Bournemouth, we know they're all about pouring forward, scoring lots of goals, but they've actually gone 2 games without scoring. Dominic Solanke's not playing well up front, and they're still conceding goals. So if they're going to get a win, I think this is the perfect opportunity at home to a Bournemouth team that look low on confidence. Maybe don't go too crazy with your stake, but I'm going for Watford to win this one, 2.2. You can do Watford draw no bet at 1.67 if you're a bit more cautious. But yeah, I think the home team can get the job done here.
Yeah, not bad price actually for the draw, no bet. You've got James Lyons says Watford due a win surely. Harry Doherty says Watford to finally get a win. Tommy O'Meara says hell no, they're terrible. So what camp are you siding on?
I can't split them.
Yeah, so what does that mean?
Draw. I'm going with a draw at 3.75. I can definitely see this being a 1-1 draw. I look at Watford and think, yeah, 2.2, that's great. They're doing really well, but they're not getting results. They're even competitive when they go away from home. Bournemouth normally score. Back on the 0-0 last week against Norwich. I look at this game and think at 3.75, I'm going to take the draw. I think it's got draw rate all over it.
Yeah, and it's got a great value all over it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Don07 says Watford will get their first win this weekend. Very strong feeling. Not siding with that Watford. I don't know. That draw no bet could just cover yourself. But I suppose 1.67 doesn't get you going, does it?
No, well, but the draw at 3.75 certainly does. And I've got bigger ones than that to come.
Ooh, Dazzler says Bournemouth to win. So
There
you're
you go.
alone on that side of the fence. Yeah, we've got, yeah. Ooh, I don't know. I can't split it. It's a tricky one. All right. West Ham versus Sheffield United. Sheffield United 3.77, undefeated on the road. I think this is a great match to either take that 3.77 or double chance. Sheffield double chance at 1.83. I really like that look. What do you like, Martin?
I mean, I can't bet on this game, I don't think. After watching Sheffield United's fantastic performance, it has to be said, against Arsenal on Monday night, they were fully deserved their victory. Arsenal were terrible, and it was a very negative team selection from Unai Emery. But credit to Sheffield United, they defended really, really well. They got the goal, they protected their lead. I think they'll probably want to go and do a similar thing at West Ham, and you can get away with that playing away from home. West Ham, 3 games without a victory. I start to feel like it's about time for West Ham to win. You never know how much effort Sheffield United put into that Arsenal game as well. West Ham have had a couple more days rest. Could be time for them to get back to winning ways. I'm sitting on the fence with it. I'd maybe back the draw, but yeah, I have to pass.
Yeah, that's why that double chance there, 1.83 Sheff. I think if it's only what's with the win, it's Sheffield United. Also sort of liking unders in this game. I don't know, I've got some strong feelings for this one. What do you like?
Well, we said last week that Sheffield United, 75% of their games have gone under. Surprise, surprise, they went under again on Monday night. We obviously suggested that maybe go with Sheffield United at 4. They'll go 1-0 up and then you can cash out. Some people did cash out, some people got rewarded and stayed the whole journey. I'm going for the draw again. I'm going for the draw at 3.6. I think that, again, I can see this being a 0-0. I can see it being a 1-1. I think it's going to be a very, very tight game. But at 3.6, I expect it to trade around even money or even odds on at some stage of the game. So I'm going with draw, 3.6. Very tight game. I would not put anyone off the unders.
Yeah, but you can't trade. We can't do that on this show, can we? So how are you? Obviously, you'll make money in your banks. What are you going to do? Like tweet out? It's like I'm trading. No,
yeah. I mean, but it's up to each individual. We're telling them, like we did on Monday, that if they can cash out, if they went 1-0 up with Sheffield United at 4. Sheffield United went to 1.66, so they know that if they've just say they had £10 on at 4, their winnings, if they stay the whole journey, will be 50. But if they cash out, their £10 might be 35. So it's almost, you're still getting 3.5 for your cash out. So for me, West Ham versus Sheffield United draw at 3.6.
Here we go. Do you do lots of in-play betting, Martin?
Oh yeah, very much so. That's what I'm doing at the weekends. Yeah, I've got the games up. I've got live betting up. I'm getting in on the action. It gets really engrossing when you get into it. Yeah, love it. And yeah, the recent advent of cash out has made things a lot more interesting as well. It's a bit fraught because you've always got to decide whether you're going to stick to your guns or cut and run. But yeah, it's good if you feel the game's going against you, that you can mitigate your losses. Yeah, I think it's a very positive development.
Yeah, definitely where the money's at. We should pick a game. Let's get it rolling, because Flash is already live betting now on Monday Night Football with the Live Line crew over at Sportsbook Review. So we should get a little game going, shouldn't we?
Yeah, it's a little bit different with NFL because it's so stop-start. So you can actually, you've got time. With Premier League football, because it's perpetual, they move the markets. By the time you've made a decision and you want to, then you've got to wait 30 seconds. Well, the game can change in 10 seconds. So there's so many times that I would make a play on soccer or on football, and then it suspends. So you have to be patient and you have to be very, very quick at pressing the buttons.
We should still give it a go,
No,
though.
yeah, without a doubt.
We'll pick a good game and not the one that's like 5 a.m. here, like something like a little later in the afternoon.
Well, because most of the streams that we get around the world, they're like a very good one is probably a minute and a half behind.
Yeah, well, but the Premier League Pass one, what's that? It's still like a minute lag or something.
Well, no, I think there will be a delay. I don't think it will be as bad as some of the other ways of watching the games.
Yeah. All right, Burnley versus Chelsea now. Chelsea looking like a top 4 team. Obviously, they were finding their feet in the beginning. I think they're found their feet. Shall I say? They'll be coming from a midweek Champions League win at Ajax. Is this a good spot to play Chelsea? I do get nervous at Burnley. Every time I play a team on the road at Burnley, it loses or it's a draw. Martin, 1.83. Are you taking that bet?
It looks good. Chelsea are obviously in fantastic form. Can't stop winning in all competitions, really. Climbing up the table, leapfrogged Arsenal, and a very, very fine win at Ajax midweek. I'm a bit worried about Burnley as well. They're always competitive against the teams in the top 6, and they're going to be firing lots of balls into the box. I know Chelsea have kept a few clean sheets recently, but when you've got a couple of inexperienced centre-backs up against Chris Wood, and Ashley Barnes should be fit to return for this game as well, I think they'll put Chelsea under quite a lot of pressure. So I can see both teams scoring in this game. So I might stay away from the outrights, go for both teams to score and overs 2.1.
God, you know what? If I would have put a bet on that, you'd have been going for the Martin Classico on this one, I have to say.
I'm a bit wary of Burnley. Bit wary.
Yeah, I know. Are you wary of Burnley?
Not wary. I think that they do a great job. And the big thing is, the strengths of Chelsea are that they're free-flowing. They get the ball into dangerous areas. They've got plenty. I think we're up to 7 now because Alonso scored last week. 7 different goal scorers. So you know that Chelsea are going to carry a threat. Now, Chelsea's biggest weakness is that they struggle to defend set pieces when someone's up against it and the delivery's good into the box. Well, every time they get into the final third, Burnley, they deliver the ball like it's a set piece. They put it into an area that makes their players favourite. I can't believe that the draw is 4.05, and I'm going to make that my 3rd draw this week. I'm going for the draw here. I wouldn't put anyone off the unders neither. I think that the draw Burnley-Chelsea at 4.05 is just too big.
Yeah, it is big. I agree with it. I agree with that one. All right, 3 more games to cover now. Newcastle hosting Wolves. Newcastle 3.0, Wolves 2.65. I have to say, very nice price on Wolves. They're a decent road team. Playing 18th Newcastle, although they've recorded just 1 win, and that was at home, and that was hosting struggling Manchester United side. So, but I do like Wolves, 2.65.
Okay, well, I started with this game thinking, again, it could be my 4th draw of the weekend. I think, listen, you don't have to be Einstein to think that any time Wolves and Newcastle were involved. I think Wolves have had just more draws than anybody else. But I've gone with under 1.5 goals in the game at 2.75 because I think that this could be that whoever scores first, that's it, job done, finished. So for me, I want it to be with a draw. I want it to be with that 0-0. But like Newcastle against Man United, they found a way. I can see this being a 1-0. I can definitely see it being 0-0. So under 1.5 at 2.75.
Under 1.5?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. What do you like, Martin?
I like the draw in this one. Yeah, 3.22. Newcastle, they're looking a lot more solid recently. Very dogged in that victory over Man United. Obviously, they lost last time out, but it wasn't a bad performance against the strong Chelsea side at Stamford Bridge. Keeping things pretty tight at the back. They go 5-man defence. They got the Longstaff brothers in midfield. And I think they will be well prepared for this game. Wolves are going to be coming off a midweek Europa League clash taking place
yeah.
now as we speak. And I think fatigue could be a bit more of an issue for them. But they're a pretty solid team as well. They haven't lost in a long, long time. So I think the draw looks like the way to go here. 3.22. Yeah, probably do. Maybe more like half a stake on that. But yeah, I think we could be all square in this one.
Yeah, you're right about that Europa League match as well, seeing how they're going to come back from their international commitments and back into the Premier League, something to be wary of. All right, Arsenal versus Crystal Palace now. Arsenal 1.5, Crystal Palace 7. 5th and 6th, though, together on the Premier League table. The first thing is that 1.5. A lot of people will be adding that to their ACCA this weekend. Is it a trap? I was going to ask you, Martin, but I'm not sure. You be with your heart or your head on this one. Is it a trap?
I don't think it's a trap. Obviously, Crystal Palace have upset the odds on a number of occasions this season, and they are a good, solid team. And they were pretty unlucky. Well, they weren't unlucky, but they played pretty well against Man City last time out. I just think Emery is going to be under a lot of pressure to deliver a stylish win in this game. The fans really turned on him after that defeat to Sheffield United. Emery out was trending heavily on Twitter. Everyone's saying this guy's not got a clue. What's he doing at the club? It was like getting back to the Wenger out stage. And, you know, he's been negative with his team selections. He's kept the fullbacks out of the team. So I think he's going to be under a lot of pressure to put Lacazette back in the team, to play Bellerin and Tierney at the wing-backs. And I think he's going to say, look, you've got to go for broke in this game. Go positive, go out and play some good football. And hopefully he'll put more of a positive team selection out. I'm not thinking he's probably going to reinstate Ozil into the team, but you'd hope that he would start Ceballos and maybe drop a couple of the two younger players to the bench. So I think they get the job done in this one. They're a lot better at home than they are on the road. Against the fellow London side in Crystal Palace, I think they'll win that. And Arsenal and under 4.5 goals, classic bet is 2.0, even money. So I'm going to that and hope Arsenal come good for me once again.
Yeah, I am liking the under 2.5 goals in this one. But really, to be fair, though, Arsenal have been keeping clean sheets. Like, I think it's a little, and you know, it's one loss and already, like, it must be quite tough to be an Arsenal manager.
Yeah, it certainly is, but I think it's like with Man United. The fans want the team to play a certain way. They get frustrated. I mean, one shot on target against the newly promoted club in Sheffield United is pretty dire. There was a lot of just knocking the ball about at the back, no urgency to their play. And it was just a very negative team selection from Emery. It's almost like he's setting them out in quite a cautious, cowardly fashion. And the fans just want to see attack, at least put in some effort, go and try and win games. He's got a pretty similar record at the start of his career than Wenger had at the end of his career, which doesn't make great reading because Wenger was sacked for that. They're doing okay in the league, but Arsenal have had a very easy run of fixtures to start the season with. But when the games get tougher, they're going to need to play a lot better. I think if Emery doesn't get top four this season, they'll get rid of him in the summer. So he's under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I can imagine you were the ones chanting, get Emery out in the pub there. attack. Well, like you said, you want to score goals to win, don't you?
You do, and the one thing you can guarantee with Arsenal is the quality that they've got going forward. But they also, you've got to match up. And we said last week against Sheffield United that I would question 6 or 7 of the hearts and desire of some of them Arsenal players. So he played, we used to call it bad pitch team. So basically, if you was going to Wimbledon away or Palace away, you'd have different types of players in. You'd have scrappers. You'd match them for 35, 40 minutes. Then 20 minutes into the second half, you'd bring on your ball players. So when the game opens up, then you got more space. But the other night, you knew very early on that Sheffield United had done a number on them. But anyway, I wouldn't put anyone off Crystal Palace winning this game at 7. I thought that was probably the best way to go. until I thought double chance.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace double chance at 2.7. I can see Crystal Palace getting something out of this game. And because Crystal Palace are big and strong in midfield, and the one thing that Arsenal are not is big and strong in midfield. And you know that Arsenal are going to be under the cosh because their desperation to get back to winning ways may well play into Crystal Palace's hands on the break. So for me, Crystal Palace double chance at 2.7.
All right, there we go. Head to head. Martin and Flash, we'll see who emerges the victor next week. Liverpool 1.56, now draw 4.6, and Spurs 6.5. Liverpool had their perfect record destroyed by rivals Manchester United. We did say that Manchester United were going to step up their game. Liverpool have been sort of like light years ahead of Man United in terms of quality, and it's kind of like, but they stepped up, didn't they, at Old Trafford, and we were wary of this one. Martin did go in, and in fairness, it was a great price there for a great Liverpool side, but you can't, you've got to be careful of rivalry, and we saw it. But that being said, they're at home, they are playing Spurs, it is the key fixture of the weekend. 1.56. Do you expect Liverpool to, they won't want to drop any more points at this stage? Obviously, I think Man City is 6 points behind. They've got to win this game against Tottenham.
Yeah, they do, because Man City closed the gap with victory against Crystal Palace, and they're starting to look formidable. They've got a couple of defenders back as well now, Stones and Otamendi, so you would fancy Man City to go on a bit of a run now. Pressure's on Liverpool to keep winning because it's so tight in the title race. I think they missed Mohamed Salah in that Man United game, and they'll definitely be pleased to see him come back for this game against Tottenham. He was playing against Genk. Oxlade-Chamberlain did pretty well in midweek, but I can imagine him dropping down to the bench and them going for a bit more balance in midfield with the likes of Henderson and Milner coming in alongside, or maybe Wijnaldum alongside Fabinho. It's a tough game. Liverpool beat Tottenham 2-1 home and away last season. I was going to pass this game, but when you look at the recent head-to-heads, I think I've got to go with Liverpool again. They really should be on the naughty step, especially when you consider Tottenham won 5-0 yesterday. But I just think Liverpool, it's at home. They've got to get the job done in this game. And Tottenham's league form has been absolutely miserable of late. So I was going to go maybe Liverpool and both teams to score at 2.88. I still might have half a stake on that. But I think I'm just going to have my main bet. Nothing too crazy. Liverpool on over 1.5 goals, 1.76.
Yeah, at home, galvanised by Salah's return. They should get the job done. All right, playing or passing this game?
Two bets in this game. And as Martin just mentioned, that Liverpool won 2-1 in both home and away last year, both fixtures. And that's one of my bets. I've gone with Liverpool -1 the tie. So Liverpool to win the tie by the one goal at 3.6. So that can be 3-2, 1-0, 2-1. So I thought 3.6 was great value. So it's Liverpool -1 the tie, or Liverpool just to win by one goal. And I'm going to have one unit on the draw at 4.6. Remember, this is a Tottenham side that have been to Man City and drawn. This is a side that Spurs, you put them up against a decent side, then they do turn up. And I've got Man United ringing in my ears last week that sides, they up their game when they play against the big sides.
Yeah.
I expect Spurs to try and match them up all over the park. I can definitely see both teams scoring. I think this is maybe it could be a 2-2, but again, if you put a gun to my head, I'm going to go with Liverpool to win 2-1. So that's why I've gone with the Liverpool to win by one goal at 3.6 and the draw at 4.6.
Very nice. Somebody says, I like that bet, Flash, says James Lines. Okay, final match here. Norwich versus Manchester United. Manchester United, obviously, favourites on the road at 1.83. Manchester United, they should get the job done, but Norwich's last home match, they beat Man City 3-2. I'm wondering whether goals is a better one to be looking at. What do you think, Martin? Do you think would you trust Man United at 1.83?
I don't trust Man United at all, I'm afraid. No, this is a team that went to St James's Park and lost to Newcastle, a team that I really don't rate. and then held Liverpool to a 1-1 draw. And it's been like this all season. They drew 1-1 with Arsenal, they beat Leicester 1-0, but they've been losing to lowly teams that you would expect them to beat. They're just so inconsistent. And who knows what you're going to get with Norwich. I mean, Norwich conceded 5 goals against Aston Villa. They've been shipping goals for fun. And then they held Bournemouth to a clean sheet, who Bournemouth have been great going forwards all season. And it was 0-0. That game looked like both teams to score written all over it. So staying well away from this one. This is a massive, massive pass from me, I'm afraid.
Yeah, is it a trap or is it where we could make some money, Flash?
I wouldn't go anywhere near Man United. You might as well call Man United goal a game, because I can't remember the last time they scored 2 in a game. Norwich, they've fallen off a cliff in the last 4 weeks, I think it is. I'm going with a draw again at 4.1. And I mean, effort from Man United last week was off the charts, but they played at home. I think they had 2 shots on goal. Yes, Liverpool missed Salah, but the effort was a big tip. But the creativity was nigh on garbage. I mean, I can see this being a 1-1 draw again. I've seen Man United too many times, and there's not enough creativity in the game. And I think Norwich, on the back of a clean sheet last week, maybe the managers just said, look, call your horses here, calm your jets. Let's just make sure we're staying in the game and it's not like a basketball game. So for me, it's a draw, 4.1. I've gone with loads of draws this week. I think there'll be so many tight games.
Yeah. Donis Evans says, United surprisingly winning tonight. This could be a sign of better things to come, or maybe not. But what's that saying? Like, one cherry don't make a pie?
Oh, yeah. One swallow don't make us summer. But the big thing is they're playing Partizan Belgrade. Partizan Belgrade are bordering on non-league. And I was watching the first half, and the creativity again, I think they probably had 2 free shots on goal. Honestly. The value is all with the draw, or maybe even Norwich double chance. Remember, this is a Norwich side that actually beat Man City. So
exactly.
They go after Man United for me. And if Man United turn up and put on a performance, well done, Man United. It's about time, because we're in week 10.
I tell you what, with all your odds, you stand to make a tidy profit or
but that's
a decent loss.
But that's the one, because I think that out of all of them, I've gone for 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 draws. If I get 2 out of them 5, I'm way in front.
Yeah, he's laughing to the bank. And tomorrow, obviously, lower league show with Dave Bet. Smashed it last week, so don't miss that one. All right, Martin, run us through your bets, will you, please? And if you've got a banker, a 2-unit play, and a parlay that you'd like to share on Acabet.
Sure, I'm going to go with Southampton v Leicester, both teams to score at 1.8. Man City and both teams to score in their game against Aston Villa at 2.4. Hedging that with half a unit on Man City win to 0 at 1.91. Half a unit on Watford to beat Bournemouth at 2.2. And the draw between Newcastle and Wolves at 3.22. I'm going to go with Chelsea v Burnley, both teams to score an over 2.5 goals at 2.0, even money. Arsenal and under 4.5 goals at even money against Crystal Palace. And then Liverpool and over 1.5 goals at 1.75 against Tottenham. Maybe crazy, but I'm just going to go with Arsenal as a banker. Come on. Crystal Palace at home. That's a game you've got to be winning.
Is that the banker at 1.5 or?
No, Arsenal and under 4.5 goals at even money.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Okay, well, I'm going to go with Man City to win and under 4.5 at 1.83, commonly known as the Martin Classic. I'm going to go Watford, Bournemouth, draw 3.75. West Ham, Sheffield United, draw at 3.6. Burnley versus Chelsea, draw 4.05. Newcastle Wolves, under 1.5 goals at 2.75. I'm going Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace double chance at 2.7. Liverpool and Spurs, draw at 4.6. And Liverpool to win by 1 goal at 3.6. And Norwich versus Man United. I'm going for the draw at 4.1. I should do the pools, shouldn't I? Now, the pools is something in England where you used to make 10 selections, and if you got 8 out of 10, you get £1 million. And my nap is Man City and under 4.5 at 1.83. No parlay.
No parlay.
I can't, you know what I mean?
Did you do a parlay, Martin?
No, I'm going to steer clear of parlays as well this weekend. I'm just going with single bets.
Yeah, I think that's a wise decision, looking at the prices. All right, guys, there we go. Premier League Punters Week 10 in the bag. We'll be back again same time next week, Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. That's right, isn't it? 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And yeah, we'll see you there. Best of luck with your bets. Please bet responsibly. Very important indeed. Best of luck, and we'll see you next week. Martin, Flash, thank you, boys.
Good luck.
Take care.
Thanks, guys. Good luck. Good weekend.